Welcome, Deirdre Verbo here on Let's Talk Seniors, Memory Care Issues, Alzheimer's, Dementia, and Parkinson's. Welcome back. Today we have a very special guest with the Alzheimer's Society, and she is going to be talking to us about fundraising and seeing if the run is on this year, so stay tuned. I just want to say it has been my pleasure to start the Just Like Home, Dogwood Home. We are now full with our 6 seniors, and I'm loving every senior and my caregivers and the families, and it's just been a loving, wonderful experience. So thank you all for your love and support. So I want to bring on Deborah Artinian. She is with the Alzheimer's Society here in Connecticut. She's only been with 14 months, but she's always been in nonprofit. She was working with Make-A-Wish before, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, for granting wishes to children. And now she is with the Alzheimer's Society. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Miss Debbie Artinian. Am I saying your last name right, Deb?
You are saying my last name right. It is Artinian, yes.
Good.
And just to clarify, because there are more than one organization, it's the Alzheimer's Association.
Oh, now what's the difference between society and association?
There is another organization. They've changed their name quite a few times, and they do a lot of education, and I think they're primarily education focused. Yeah. So.
But you're not connected?
I mean, we know each other, and they actually participate in our walk, but we're not the same place. Like, in other words, I went there thinking it was Alzheimer's Association, and they guided me to go to the actual Alzheimer's Association.
Oh my gosh! Okay, that's good. Yeah. So there's more than one organization working on Alzheimer's, which is good to know. But one society, one's organization. Are there others?
Well, we're the largest. We're worldwide. I mean, we do research worldwide. So we're the largest, nonprofit organization, volunteer organization that is working to end Alzheimer's. So,
wow. Yeah. How long has the organization been around?
Oh gosh, Deirdre. I want to say 1984, but boy, I hope I'm right. I don't remember. I started 2 months before the pandemic, and then it was just like constant pivoting every day to try to do the things we needed to do and raise the funds we needed to raise while we were in a pandemic. Yeah, so we did a great job. We did a great job.
Well, listen, it's a tough situation starting a new job right for a pandemic, especially asking people for money and fundraising for such an awesome cause, but when people aren't even sure of their own job security and not knowing what's going on. So I give you a lot of credit for that. That was awesome, that what you did last year, and you're going to double that this year, I am sure. But before we go on about Alzheimer's,
thank you.
Yeah, talk a little bit about yourself, Debbie. And you live in New Haven?
I live in Cheshire.
Cheshire, okay.
Cheshire, so New Haven County. I have 2 grown daughters, 26 and 21. One is in New Mexico. The younger one, and my older one, is in Boston.
Oh,
and
wow.
And I love nonprofit. Like I said, I was working at Make-A-Wish for 7 years before I came here, and I love this organization. It's a much bigger it's set up differently, so there's just a lot more resources for us as employees, and I'm really enjoying it. I think they do a great job, and they were amazing during the pandemic because it was very stressful, and they were there for us every step of the way.
Wow. So it's a national organization, and you're running the fundraising for the New Haven chapter or the Connecticut. How does it work?
So I'm the development manager / walk manager for the greater New Haven region. So it encompasses, like 37 towns. It goes all the way out to Essex, and it starts at Milford, and it goes up towards Cheshire, and it includes, Bethany. And so the greater New Haven region spans quite a few towns. And the walk historically has been in actual New Haven proper at Lighthouse Park, but this year, because of everything that's going on and the different way we're going to probably have to manage our walk, we're going to actually have it at Ken Strong Stadium in West Haven. So we're really excited about that. There's a lot of cool things we can do there that we couldn't do before. So
let's talk about the walk, and it's going to go on all over Connecticut. Are there many walks?
all over Connecticut, there are 7 walks. If you go to alz.org/CT, you can look and see. I don't know all the dates off the top of my head right now because I want to say today dates were confirmed for 2 of the walks. So my walk, a Greater New Haven walk, is going to be September 26th, which is a Sunday. We're hoping registration starts at 8:30, but we're really just going to wait and see what the governor says, how many people we can have, but we're going to follow every CDC guideline and everything that, the state of Connecticut guides us to do, and Alzheimer's, because they're also, they care very much about their constituents and their employees, and they want us all to be safe. So we'll figure it out. We're going to have it in person. It's just going to look a lot different. That's all. So.
Well, it's kind of like we were talking about before, like people walk in their own pods. I've done walks before where you're not, there's millions of people around you maybe, but you could space people out. But people are usually walking with their group they came with, whether it's their company or their family or their friends that they're walking with. So they, we kind of stick with our own, pods that we call it now with this pandemic. And
True.
So I think it'll be a healthy, safe thing, especially Connecticut's doing such a good job with the vaccines.
We are. Let's keep this going because we're like one of the top 5 states.
Well, we are the smallest too. So,
it helps. It helps that we're not Texas. So,
hopefully, people are vaccinated, and you'll be maybe asking if people aren't vaccinated for some proof of, COVID negative test or something, just to keep it safe so you're not in a crowd. But we're talking about September.
Yeah.
We're hoping things will be a lot more opened up.
Yeah. It's still March until tomorrow.
But things are, people are feeling a lot better already that are vaccinated and know what to do. So tell us a little bit about how to get involved with it. If people want to get their companies involved, how do they go about the fundraising for it? And what if they don't feel comfortable walking in person? What are the alternatives?
Okay, so lots of questions there. So how can you get involved? Again, you can go to our website, alz.org/CT, and, basically just look for Alzheimer's Association Connecticut, and you can look to see like that you want to be involved in an event. Of course, you also have my cell phone number on here, which is fine, and I'm happy to share that with everybody. But you can call the office, and you'll be connected. So let's say you live in New Haven, but you work in Thompson or something. If you wanted to walk with your employer group, you could do that, and then you could join the Northwestern Walk. So we have walks all over the state. So no matter where you live or where you work, or let's say you want to walk with your mom and she lives in the northeastern section of Connecticut. So there's a walk for everybody, no matter where you are. And you can get involved on any level. But I'm going to say the first thing I say to anybody that says they want to volunteer, I say start a walk team. Start a walk team.
What does that involve?
It's super easy. We can even do it for you. The walk managers can sign you up, but usually if you're new and you want to create your own special team name, I walk for mom or, for Yaya, whatever it might be. You just go right onto our website. And again, if you're new, you just go onto our website. If you're coming back, then you can pull up the app and do it on the app. But if you're first time, you're going to get onto the website, alz.org/Connecticut, CT, and then you just look up what the event is, and then you pick New Haven or whatever walk you want to be a part of, and then you can start your walk team. It takes 3 minutes. It's super easy.
So we create the name of the team, and then is there a financial goal obligation each team has to commit to?
We don't want to call that an obligation. We ask people to do what they can do. That's my job, is to help coach people. There is no fee. It's free to start your walk team. But, we're hoping that there's either some kind of a connection to the mission, or if you just feel like this is one of those diseases that you want to help end, that's great too. Get your friends and family involved. It's not that hard. I would say the minimum, if you can raise $100, you'll end up with a really cool t-shirt, and there's all incentives along the way. For example, if somebody started a new team before April 2nd, we would send them a really cool heather gray mask that has the Alzheimer's logo on it in white. So most of our stuff is purple, but we're, kind of make it a little bit.
Well, listen, that's 2 days away, so this is good.
2 days away, so there's still time. Still time.
So you set up a walk team. So you go on to the alz.org/.
Right.
You find an area. You come up with a team name, and I've already thought of mine. So come up with a team name,
Yes.
and then how do you actually get people to donate? Like, what are they?
So
What's the mechanism?
first of all, we're like the number one peer-to-peer fundraising organization in the world. I mean, it is amazing how easy and turnkey they make everything. So once you start your team, I would recommend for anybody that has a phone, it has to be a smartphone, to pull up the app. And once you do that, you have access no matter where you go. You could send emails to all your team participants. You can get your link and send that to your friends. You can go on Facebook and ask them to join your team. You can just say, "Go, here's the link, jump in and make a donation or become one of my team members." It's super easy. We can walk it through anybody that needs help with. We're happy to help them, but they've made it very, very easy. So some people just want to make a donation. That's fine. Some people want to be anonymous, and some people want to be a participant. So the participants also can win incentives and, get prizes too. They can become champions. They can become grand champions or elite grand champions.
So does every walk person, Debbie, have to fundraise? Every walker?
I mean, that would be awesome. It doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen. So like last year was a crazy year, and some people just couldn't wrap their head around how they could possibly make this happen. But I just want to share that I had a walk team. There was two people on the walk team, her and her brother, and she raised $33,000, all virtual, all remote, most of it Facebook. So it can be done. I have to say that was amazing to me. The fact that she was able to do that. She ended up being the number 2 team in the state of Connecticut, and the team that was ahead of her had about 74 participants. So she really,
wow.
Yeah. Well,
ratio-wise, she's really the winner. So, but do you actually give prizes for teams that raise the most money?
So there are embedded. So, like for example, we have a branding group that we work with, and they create all these really cool. So, like there's this really cool hoodie. So even I'm excited. I'm like, oh, I want that hoodie. As soon as you hit a certain level, they'll say to you that it triggers an email. The email will come to you and it'll say, "Deirdre, you just raised $500. You can pick one of these 5 gifts." But then maybe you're like, I want to be a grand champion. So I don't want to take these gifts yet. I want to go for the good stuff. So, or I shouldn't say the good stuff, other things that they offer. So, like one year, I think they had one of those vacuums that vacuums by itself. I don't even know what it's called, but that was one of the,
that little thing, that like round thing that goes and bumps.
Yeah, like bangs into stuff, but it keeps vacuuming. Yeah. So prizes, there's like, what do you call it? Speakers and jackets and all kinds of things. So it's really just, and you can see them all ahead of time. So that maybe you want to raise, if you want to raise $2,500 and get something really fancy, then you can do that.
So what if somebody wants to raise the money but doesn't want to go to walk? Is it basically the same thing without the walking?
So you can certainly raise the money and not go to walk. I mean, the walk is really a celebration of all the work you've done all year long. It's really everybody coming together and saying, we celebrate you, all of you that helped us raise these funds, because it's really all of the participants. So normally this walk has about, 2,200 participants. Last year I had 699, and we raised 60% of our pre-pandemic goal. So that's pretty impressive. So we have a pretty mission-driven, passionate group of people that we're not letting the pandemic stop them, So
wow,
we.
I love that. So
Yeah.
Debbie, how long is the walk? How many miles?
So our walk is not really a mile measured walk. when it was at Lighthouse Park, which I didn't ever get to experience because of the pandemic, I want to say it was less than a mile. We were actually going to work on that and try to make it a little bit longer just so that people, could actually have the experience of walking together more than like a half a mile. So I think what we're going to do in this other location, it's going to be more of like, a loop around maybe like 4 times, and then that group's going to maybe have to move out, and we'll have like a staggered walk time. So we're hoping it'll be at least a mile and a half. We'll have to see. But if people don't want to do the walk, the actual walking part, they don't have to. So it's really, it's really a celebration.
Right. So if people are feeling, they don't know how they're going to feel in September, they don't have to commit to physically being there.
Nope.
They can make their group, they could sign on, they can make their group, they could do the fundraising, and then whether they physically walk or not really doesn't matter. You're raising the money.
No, I mean, if they're,
and that's
right.
just like showing up. It's great also press for Alzheimer's, right? To show up en masse, to show that we did this big fundraiser, and now, it's good press to see how many people are there. So it's good to be there. But if you're not feeling comfortable for whatever reason, who knows what will happen in September. Honestly, when the pandemic started and we were closed down for 3 weeks, I thought it was going to be 3 weeks long.
We all did. We were like, I took like a couple of notebooks and a few things from my office. I'm like, we'll be back.
Like long snow day, let's eat ice cream. But now, so I think that's great. So you get a link and then you just send it out to everybody.
Yeah.
When they actually donate, then it says so-and-so donated to you, and then you thank them, right?
Exactly. And they can be anonymous. Some people choose to be anonymous, but as soon as somebody donates, if they go onto your website, if they send a check, it might take a little bit long, it might take 10 days just because the office is closed and it's a little bit more cumbersome right now. But if they went to the app or they did it online, it's instantaneous. So it would say, like my walk team, it would say, Deirdre Vero donated, and it would just be like whatever the amount of money, and I could instantly Facebook, like message you or text you and be like, thanks, Deirdre. So it's really nice because it is very immediate, and you can also see, who is donating. You can see like people that are donating more than once, because that is pretty common.
Also, what's nice is that you can, when you send out a link for donation, you can put your personal story. So if like I'm doing this for my mom, who, passed away from Alzheimer's or had it or still suffering from it. Like it's more of a personal touch story. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, you have not been there long enough, obviously, but I feel like when I was a lot younger, the walk was like per mile. People contribute per mile. And if you didn't walk it, you only got X amount. Your goal as a walker was to make sure you went those, 6 miles. So then you got all your money, and people would be like, I'll give you $1 a mile. And then you walk 5 miles, you only get $5. But I guess, am I thinking?
I believe you're right. I think it has evolved greatly over the years. I think in the beginning it was exactly like that. I think there were actually mile markers that people would pay and have like a little logo or whatever at the mile marker, because we don't really make it a set amount of, steps or miles. We don't really do that anymore. But, it's really, like I said, it's really turned more into a celebration of all the work that has happened up until that day.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
And yeah, I just want to point out that you said the perfect thing. Like, writing your story is everything. If we put something in there for folks that maybe aren't comfortable, or maybe they're just supporters of ours and they don't actually have a connection or a mission that they want to share. But if you can share your story, it will resonate with people, and they will donate because they care. People care.
Especially because they know that. So a lot of people don't, might know you in business, but they don't know that your mother or father, your brother, your sister, uncle,
exactly,
suffered from Alzheimer's. So just letting them know your personal story and your mission. And I've been very vocal on this show that my mother-in-law had dementia and Alzheimer's for 15 years and recently passed. But that's one of the reasons I got involved with opening a home for people with memory care issues, to have a much better place for them to live. And I love them so much. And it's just, you know, they can't help that they don't remember things. It's just they can't help they have Alzheimer's. And it's good to know who they were prior to it setting in, and that's who they still are. I'll just tell you a quick story. So a guy in our gym who lives at our home, he was an engineer, and he is, I love this guy, but he could put anything together. Now he has to read the directions 100 times over, but he puts together chairs and hangs the pictures. I didn't have a screwdriver the other day, and he fixed an entire door with a butter knife. It took him like an hour and a half, but he will persevere and do it. So people purpose when they have Alzheimer's and not forgetting who they are, because they're still that person, they're in there, and letting them shine through is, I think, so important, and giving them a purpose, because, you know, all too often they're just like, well, you can't remember. You sit there and I'll just wait on you. I'm going to bring you everything and do everything for you, and you just sit around and wait for me. Why? They were running households, and they were engineers, and they were teachers, and they were people, and they were running businesses. And now just because they can't remember things doesn't mean they can't do things.
Exactly. No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
So
it's really important.
And it's important to also learn how to interact with people with Alzheimer's and meet them where they are, instead of reminding them over and over something they forgot, because they're not going to remember that. Like,
right.
And, you know, I have people that say, I've told my parent this every day. Every time I see them, I tell them this. I tell them this. The cat died. The cat died. The cat died. The cat. I'm like, why do you keep telling them that?
Right.
They have to meet them where they are. So just the education on not just ending Alzheimer's, but how to be loving and caring with people with Alzheimer's, and be able to, you know, help them live a wonderful life, you know, before we can figure out how to, you know, not have Alzheimer's. While you have Alzheimer's, you still have to live a wonderful, caring, loving life.
Absolutely. And, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't share that we have an amazing, amazing program team. So I'm on the development team, but we have a program team, and they provide all the care and support programs that used to be in person, but immediately pivoted to making them virtual and helping all of their people that they were working with figure out how to get on Zoom. And you know what I mean? Like, it was not easy, and I know it was very stressful. But through that pandemic, I mean, this is amazing. We answered 2,600 hotline calls, and I do want to share that number. It is 1-800-272-3900. 1-800-272-3900. So we answered over 2,600 hotline calls throughout the pandemic, never missed a call, and provided over 5,400 virtual programs and care and support groups. So that is astonishing.
Well, first, I think, first give me the number again, because I'm going to put it on the screen.
Thank you. It's 1-800-272-3900. And you're probably familiar with that number, right?
Yes. Now, Deb, I think you were probably more inundated than usual this year, because people couldn't see their loved ones in facilities and homes, or they were home with them and didn't know what to do with them. And, you know, a lot of people didn't want caregivers in their home because, you know,
I know.
So then they had to turn to you to say, what do I do with my mom when she does this? What do I do with my dad? How am I helping them? Is it safe? What should I do with them? I can't even tell you how many, you know, you couldn't see your people if they were living somewhere, and you couldn't visit them if they were living at home. And it was just been so horrible. Like, I think it's the population, not just because they, you know, were most affected by the death toll of the pandemic, but they're the most affected because they go into the hospital or they're in their facility, and nobody can get in touch with them. They don't know if everybody died. Like, they don't know what's happening.
No, I know. It's very stressful.
The most decline of any group. It's been just horrible. And so I'm sure you got a million more phone calls than typical.
Oh, I know. And they were, you know, I mean, I was calling just team captains just to see how they were doing. If there's anything we could do for them, because you said it exactly. There were people who used to maybe bring their loved one to a daycare facility, an adult daycare facility, and no longer were able to do that. And then how are you having your care and support group to help you with the care and support of that? And now they're with you all the time. So super stressful. But I'm going to tell you, it was amazing. I had people in that situation still fundraising. I mean, amazing, because they were saying this has to end. Like, this disease has to end. And now it was just 24/7. I mean, if there wasn't a pandemic, I would have hugged them, because I just felt so, I just was like, virtual hug. And I don't even know how, I mean, such strength and compassion. And yeah, it was.
So give us some idea. So now we know what to do with the walk and where to go, alzheimers.org/Connecticut. And really sign up prior to April 2nd, because you're going to get some cool merch.
It's a cool mask.
Cool merch. Okay. But Debbie, give us some ideas of things that you know about staving away Alzheimer's. Like, are these things just like anecdotal? Is that how you say it? You know what I mean? Are they
anecdotal? Yeah. So I'm not a research expert.
No,
we do.
You know, there's scuttlebutt over there at Alzheimer's. Give us some insight.
We actually have a research champion, Kristen Casado. She's amazing. And by the way, all of our programs are free. I'm sure you have actually accessed them before. I thought so. So anybody can call us at any time, and we will give them the 10 warning signs. We have all kinds of programs that we can provide to people who are interested, who maybe just really need an actual just introduction to Alzheimer's and dementia. I mean, just understanding that dementia is kind of the umbrella, and Alzheimer's is one of the types of dementia. And then we have programs that really dive deep into being a caregiver with, like early stages, middle stages, late stages. So we have a lot of programs. They're all great. But, and we have a research champion who keeps on top of what is happening right now, and she's amazing. So basically what I can tell you that I think was surprising to me was one of the programs that I was listening to. They were talking about exercise. We all know you should exercise. And, I said to you before, like, what's good for your heart is good for your brain. And that sounds kind of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, I get that. But what they were saying is not just, walking around the block with your dog, like actually exercising to the point where, I know, I'm sorry. Listen, dancing counts, and it makes you breathless. And that's what they were saying, becoming breathless, like actually being able to exercise hard enough where you're really working your heart and your blood vessels. All of that is really good. Eating well, not drinking too much alcohol, all the really obvious things are
all the things that are good for everything. Low sugar, exercise.
Don't eat chocolate. That I have not heard, so that's okay.
Exercise, getting your heart rate up, eating whole foods, like all the things they tell us to do. Every single thing is also good for Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and also getting good sleep. So a lot of people don't sleep through the night. And if they don't, they're finding some links to people having an increased chance of ending up with some kind of dementia. Really? So sleep is what they're finding is really, really important. Again, I'm not a research champion, so I'm just kind of like doing like a really like high level here. But, like when you're sleeping, your brain basically gets washed, so to speak, of all the crud it kind of collects throughout the day. And if you're not sleeping well, then that can actually, contribute to possibly like the plaques and tangles that you hear about. So hopefully I'm not completely destroying that statement.
No, that's so you're talking over my head, so I don't know. But no,
definitely over mine too.
Because you hear so many people that get to be like seniors, they have sleep issues, and I'm wondering if they kind of tackle their sleep issues. Like, they're waking up early, they're waking up in the middle of the night. Maybe if they tackle their sleep issues, it could keep Alzheimer's down. I don't know. I'm just saying that I do hear often how seniors are. So maybe that has something to do with it. Who knows? God bless you.
They're also finding connections to having brain trauma at some point in your life, whether it's a major concussion, like a car accident, or even a lot of athletes that end up having some type of dementia. They're finding that they had repeated concussions. So taking care of your brain, wear a helmet when you're riding a bike or playing sports. I mean, there's just so many things. And a lot of these things start when kids are young, right? Like, I was watching my kids play sports when they were 11 and I was like, gosh, should they have a helmet on? I mean, it seemed really aggressive, but
So
yeah.
Concussions that you get as a child can cause Alzheimer's later on in life.
I don't know that you can make it positive, but what they're finding is that people that end up with, so they're looking at all the different factors, and
one doesn't lead to the other, but if you have it,
right, it's not like if you get a concussion, you're gonna get, but if you have a series of things, then your chances are going to be higher, like one of your parents, and then, you don't exercise and and maybe you had a couple of concussions, you might find that your chances are actually going to be greater than somebody who doesn't have all of those things. So
what about
it's really
drink or take recreational drugs?
Pardon me?
What about people that drink alcohol or take recreational drugs?
I have not heard. I haven't had any experience with any research results from. It doesn't mean that it's not out there.
Right.
I just personally haven't heard anything that I could share. But like I said, we if somebody is interested in that, including you, our research champion, Kristen, she literally has the answers to all the questions. So she's really great.
I will ask her
the answers to all the questions. I'm sure she'll appreciate me saying that.
So, Debbie, what is the goal this year for the Alzheimer's.org C2 walk?
So for my walk, I can only say that I know mine off the top of my head because it lives in here, and that's $303,000.
Wow.
Last year during the pandemic, we raised $244,000. So I think
that's incredible.
I know it is incredible. Like I said, we just had people who they were like, the pandemic did not stop them. If anything, I feel like they got more like mission driven than ever, thinking that we were going to come in so short. But I think it's doable. Again, I don't know what the next 6 months, we fundraise right up until December 31st. So, I don't know what the rest of this year is going to look like, but I'm feeling hopeful. And a lot of teams have signed up that did not sign up last year. People, understandably, were not comfortable.
Do you have recurring teams? Like, do teams usually sign up year after year? Is it like a repeat team?
Oh yeah, we've had people. I have people that my database, at least, I can go back to I think it's 2000. It's like 2003. I have teams that have been doing this since 2003.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
That's a beautiful thing.
I mean, sometimes people started their team when they found out that their parent was diagnosed, and they've lost their parent or their loved one, and they are still fundraising for us.
Sure. That's a beautiful thing.
It really is.
Well, Deb, I really appreciate you coming on, and I think it's awesome that you raised so much money during a pandemic and at the start of a new business, which you didn't even probably get to meet anybody at your office there, and you're just like, here, Deb.
I know. I'm like, hi.
Go to Zoom and figure this out. And we can't walk in person, but go raise a few $100,000 first, please. You did a great job. And you're like, oh, yeah, so happy.
No problem.
I got this one. And you got it. So you did great. Any words of wisdom, anything you want to share with people?
Well, I guess for me, I think one of the things that really impacted me is that 1 in 3 seniors will die from some type of dementia. And we are an aging population with baby boomers. I'm in that group. That kind of is terrifying to me. And I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm just saying, I feel like this is something we really all need to care about because we, again, are all an aging population. They're talking about, like right now in Connecticut, we have 80,000 people that are suffering with some type of dementia. And they're looking at that number being 92,000 by 2030. What 2021 by 2025. By 2025. So in 4 years.
What is the average age that people get dementia? Do you know that?
I don't know what the average age is, but I know that, there are some very younger onset. It can be in their 40s, in their 50s. That's younger onset. And that's a really difficult, well, it's all difficult, but I'm just saying, like, when you have a parent and they're in their 40s or 50s, and this is,
it shouldn't be.
It's,
I think we're just living so long as a population, and I don't know how we're doing that with all the processed food we eat, but anyway, we're living so long, and that if you're bound to get it, in your 80s or 90s, let's say, you're going to be living to be 100, which we're seeing constantly now. Yeah, the chances are getting higher and higher. So,
So
so that is awesome. So 1 out of every 3. Wow. Got to figure out which one of my friends it's going to be. No, I'm kidding. So that's awesome. So I'm really happy you came on the show, Debbie, and thank you so much for informing us on how it all works, and that we can take this walk and raise the money. And you don't actually have to walk, it's just raising the money and building awareness. And I don't know anybody that doesn't know somebody with Alzheimer's.
Well, that is true. I learned that when I started this job. It is amazing, that how many people you talk to, and they start telling you their story, and then they might find out that there's actually that we can help them, and it's free. So I'm always astonished how many people are like, oh my gosh, you provide all that, and what does it cost? And I'm like, it doesn't cost you anything. So awesome. It is an amazing service. It's an amazing organization, and providing amazing services to people that really, really need the services.
Yes, especially now. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you on the walk. And
yes.
We'll talk again, and nice meeting you in person. Face to face, almost in person.
I can't wait to see what your team name is.
Oh, it's going to be, I can tell you.
Tell me.
It's just like home, the name of my company.
Oh, nice. Then I'll know exactly who it is.
I work with seniors, so that's what it will be. It will be
beautiful.
I'm even thinking of taking them because, some of them are actually mobile. They have dementia, but they're mobile. They're very, very agile and very, they're walking. Even the ones in wheelchairs we could take, right? So
it'll all be, handicap accessible. Yep.
Yeah, I'm thinking the whole way. I'm, my wheels are turning as you're talking. So thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks,
so
Deirdre.
We'll talk again. Thank you so much. All right. Bye, Debbie. Much appreciated. That was Debbie Artinian from the alzheimers.org/CT. If anybody's interested in signing their team up, oh my gosh, what a great cause. And I really don't know anybody that hasn't experienced this. And so many people don't even recognize the signs of their parents having Alzheimer's. They just think they're getting older or forgetful or, not sure if they're just being stubborn or obstinate or don't want to, be good anymore. I've heard it so often. And I'm like, they have Alzheimer's. Like they're not just being honorable people. There's something going on with them, and you should really check it out. But the alzheimers.org can help answer a lot of questions. You can see early warning signs, as Debbie was saying, that, so you don't think it's just them being, them. You could see what's up and then how to get help. And there are tests and brain scans and things that you could see what you could do. And there's different kinds of dementia. There's different kinds of Alzheimer's. So it's very good to check out what kind it is, different kind of cures as well. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you all next week on Let's Talk Seniors, memory care issues, Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. Till then, enjoy.
Hi, Deirdre here again. Thank you for joining me on Let's Talk Seniors, memory care issues. Is this an issue hitting home? Do you have a parent or loved one with memory care issues who you feel is not safe at home anymore? Are isolation, falls, and safety issues becoming a big concern? Welcome to Dogwood Senior Home, premier boutique residential senior living specializing in memory care. It's country living at its best in the Huntington section of Shelton, Connecticut, We're truly a home with only 6 senior residents living as one family unit. Senior residential homes are concepts sweeping the nation with 47,000 across the U.S. We're pleased to open Dogwood Senior Home as it will be only number 6 for Connecticut. Brand new, sparkling clean, opening mid-June. And safe. We are COVID-free. Residential care homes boast a very low COVID infection rate across the nation. This is due to the intimacy of size and speed in which the caretakers can shift to accommodate immediate needs. They are much safer than the large homes and facilities, as you can imagine. It has been documented that residents have less falls and a better quality of life in a residential home environment. Our home is more affordable than the big box facility. You pay one all-inclusive price, and that price is guaranteed for the life of the resident. With an incredible 1-to-3 caregiver ratio, which you won't find anywhere else. Our friendly, loving caregivers are dedicated and trained in Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's issues. We're only taking 6 residents, so the home will fill up fast. Call me at 203-689-7562 for a talk and tour. I would love to meet you and your loved one. See you soon. Bye.